Oh, wow. You and I were truly unhinged tonight.
I'm Melody Carlisle.
And I'm Sabrina Bradley.
And this is Heaving Bosoms. This is the podcast where best friends recap romance novels and other kissing media that makes us swoon, snark, and refills our cups.
Whether you've read the book or are coming in blind, we'll lay bare every delicious scene and revel in the tropes and subgenres that make romance amazing.
All right, listener, strap in and strap on. Headphones are highly recommended. I think that is adequate, don't you?
Oh, right. Adequate. That honestly, this specific day in my life, adequate is really the level that I'm looking for.
It's like, soaring over all of everything else.
Adequate is just 130% of my effort right now.
Y'all, Sabrina and I, for like totally different life/mental health/ maybe hormone reasons, have just had a rough week, day.
The last 36 hours, the world, personal world,
also greater fucking world.
Yes.
Call your representatives and demand a ceasefire. You know what I mean? Like, I've been doing that daily. So that's something that we could do in the world. Well, okay. So between my overall sense of self and place in the world, and then falling into a fucking angsty orc hole.
Oh my God, Melody. Okay, listener.
Not okay.
Listener, I need you to understand something. So we had the watch party this last weekend, and
no, it was before that.
It was before that.
We recorded a reading roundup.
Oh, you bitch. I forgot about that.
God damn it. So we recorded a reading roundup for Patreon where Sabrina talked about how she handles her TBR. I explained how I don't know what a TBR is in actuality, in a practical sense. And then by the end of the recording...
That still gives me hives, Melody.
I hear you. I hear you. And then by the end of the recording, I had added at least 3 orc books to my TBR again, because I didn't know that Finley Fenn had a whole series called Orc Forged. And so by the next day, which was our new moon watch party, I had already read Kest and Eftrar's book.
And I was 5%. I was 5% from being finished with The Duchess and the Orc.
Yeah.
Melody single-handedly obliterated both of our free times, both of our responsibility.
Sleeping
free time.
stopped.
What a joke that I said free time, as if I did not spend. I should have cleaned my house.
No,
honestly,
totally.
It's a miracle that I had clean clothes for work on Monday.
Yeah, because especially the books that I was reading are new enough that there aren't audiobooks yet. So, I couldn't even multitask. I was just glued to the Beauty and her orcs. And God, they broke my heart the whole time. And I really start mirroring the emotions of people in the books. And it's angsty as fuck. And then I wasn't sleeping because I was up until reading. Oh, no. You don't want to be in a Finley Fenn climax.
Of the maid and the orcs.
Oh, my God. That Alma,
and I had to put it down because of today, and I am not prepared.
No, you're not.
Yeah,
No, you're absolutely not. So anyway, part of it's our fault, part of it is that Is it my meds? Is it my hormones? I don't know, but I'm not okay.
That's a mood. Oh God, I want a book to not be okay wrecking, or not wrecking, but like talking about.
Oh
we'll
my
get
God.
into it, but let's
such
do
a good
Patreon.
Choice. Yeah,
Let's do
no,
Patreon
but okay.
first.
So we sort of did a Patreon pluggaroo accidentally a little bit earlier, and it really was accidentally.
Accidental.
This is our official plug. This is when we get out the orc sworn Rastja, which is like a gold ball boy where the balls get bigger and you do put it up a butthole. What are those called? Why can't I think of the
Anal beads?
Beads. Thank you. Anal beads, except it's made of gold. And
Why do I not remember this?
Because I haven't actually encountered it until the Beauty and her orcs. It goes deep
but
into
that doesn't mean
Gristland.
shit, Melody, because you're a freaking nightmare who hasn't read 3 of the books in the fucking series.
I'm a chaos gremlin. I know. I'm
Like-
so sorry. This is our Patreon butt plug. We're not getting distracted by my chaos. Thank you so much.
Don't worry,
Okay.
I'm already going to talk about it when we actually start talking about books, so let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go. Okay,
Well,
so we have
speaking of
new
being chaos,
patrons. What?
where are patrons? There's a list of
in
patrons.
chat.
Oh,
In chat.
I see.
Meld in
Look how-
chat.
You're so smart.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
so
so we-
pretty.
Thank you. So we have patrons to shout out because a bunch of people have joined our Patreon, and I'm so thankful for it. You're incredible. So here we go. We would like to send a huge welcome to Jane S. and Michaela L.,
Also, Jamie Lee S. and Jordan M.,
Linda N. and Andrea W.,
Maggie and Ariel C.,
Ellen, oh hey, Roxanne L.
and then Taryn A. and Sammy J. 22.
Oh my
Thank
God.
you.
Y'all are incredible. Depending on what tier you signed up for, you get bonus episodes, you get watch parties, you get author hangs, but not until Q1 of next year. There's a bunch of shit. I just sent out Bridgerton coloring books for our annual gifts. I'm very excited about it. Anyway, that's our Patreon and that's our butt plug. That went off the rails a bit. You know what I mean?
I mean, I support it. To be clear, you and I are both unhinged tonight. Like, I don't know, like, I can already tell that this is going to be a hell of an episode. One,
Yeah.
because I can guess how we both feel. 2,
About this book? Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe I
okay.
can't.
Oh, let's go. Let's fucking go. Okay. So here's the thing, dude. Okay,
boy.
here's the thing. This episode's title does not at all match the reading list that we put out on social medias. If you follow
No, it
us on
sure
social
doesn't.
medias, we led you astray, okay?
We did.
lied to your faces
This
on
was our
social
first
medias.
time. Like, we were so excited. We were like, yeah, here's like the reading list and like the book. We're so proud of ourselves because we're like, we've been on top of it for so many months, and like we know exactly what we're gonna read. And we even listener, we bought physical books.
I bought a physical fucking book, which is also, turns out, Sabrina and my kryptonite.
Oh my God. Okay. But like, so like, listener, we bought a physical copy of this book because it is not available in E. Okay.
And like, now I understand why.
Oh my God. 30 pages in. And I could, like, I already saw the fat shaming and the slut shaming and the general sex shaming and the racism.
Wow, the
and
racism was both passive and aggressive.
Dude, it was so
You know?
bad. Like so like in the first like 15 pages, I was like, I don't like some of the stuff that's being said. And then like the
bad.
whole
Ooh.
like then there was a specific line that I literally highlighted and almost sent you like, I don't know if we can do book.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can do book. And that was the final straw. Like that literally I read that line and that's when I was like, Melody,
we can't do book. So here's the thing. So our strategy for Veterans Day books, hey, happy Veterans Day, US HBs, get your Veterans Day on. Our Veterans Day strategy, my personal Veterans Day strategy, is I like to go with like the most bonkersest Veterans Day book I possibly can. And so Sabrina and I were going through.
we were just like seeking.
Yeah, we were voyaging. We were on a journey.
Podcaster
together.
seeking book.
Yes. And this thing was not only, was he like a former Navy SEAL, I think?
They had like a past
There's a reincarnation situation.
Yeah.
There's a prophecy situation.
They've been dreaming of each other for like 15
all their
years.
lives. Yeah,
It sounded perfect.
It did. Because like fucking genius Erin, she was right about like the other branch of Navy SEALs being just paranormal, but in contemporary times.
That is
you know
exactly
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's what it sounded like. It sounded like he was not only going to be a paranormal creature, but there was also going to be paranormal bullshit involved.
We did end up reading a paranormal book.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Because okay, so then we had to hard quit on that one.
We pushed back recording so that we could read something
Read a different book. Yeah. And my last, like, my shiningest memory of a Veterans Day book that we did was Prince Joe by Suzanne Brockmann. And so Sabrina and I were like, you know what? We're going back to the Prince Joe-ness of it all because it was bonkers, but it wasn't like shoot me in the face, I'm so offended bonkers. Like that's not the type we were going for.
Mm-hmm.
So we went for book number 2, Forever Blue. That does mean that Sabrina had to read Prince Joe.
I'm just like, I am not capable.
I can't with you.
Not, so
that's
like,
a chaos monster.
I realized it was the second book, and so I did buy Prince Joe.
Yeah,
and it was
and loved it. What a journey! He
what the fuck did I read?
A building at some point. Ugh.
Down a building and back up.
Yeah, I will say that I was a little bit disappointed in Forever Blue as far as a premise is concerned. All right, Prince Joe had the bonkersest premise. Go back and listen to it. I don't remember what episode it is, but you know, you do
it's
your
like
Google
right around
machine.
100 because I looked it up.
Yeah. Anyway, he is the doppelganger of a prince who somebody wants to murder. And so they're like, you should be the public-facing prince until we do either you die.
Yeah, and so she's a publicist who like trains him how to act like a prince, and it's a whole it was a delightful book. Like I will recommend that book.
It's a romp.
It is a romp. It's fucking. There were so many times though where I was like shielding my eyes, like I cannot believe that just happened.
Oh my god, the striptease murdered me in the face.
Oh
like I
my
can't with that
god,
book.
I cannot.
The climactic cruise ship scene. Was it a cruise ship? Or was it like a pirate ship? I don't remember.
It had to be a yacht, though. There's no way that it was anyway. We're not here to talk about Prince Joe. Go listen to the episode.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So we read Forever Blue, which is number 2. It's in the Tall, Dark, and Dangerous series. And it follows Alpha Team 10, which is a Navy SEAL school.
Navy SEAL Team 10 Alpha Squad.
Alpha Squad.
And let me tell you, I read too much fucking Omegaverse to be able to read Alpha Squad without being like, oh boy. Okay, all right.
Anyway, so we're here. We've got Lucy and we've got Blue. His real name is Carlton?
Carter.
Carter. Okay, that's fine too.
I don't know his last name.
McCoy.
Oh yeah.
I think. She just keeps calling him McCoy. Anyway, so he has a Southern accent, which was important to me, Melody. And he is on...
Fascinating. As somebody who lives in the deep south, I am so... That is... To be clear, though, I'd probably come up to visit you, and I'm going to be like, ooh, look at all these accents. And you're going to be like, oh.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So, in the prologue, he saves a senator's daughter by paragliding off of a cliff.
Oh god, that
onto
was
a ship.
Such a sad scene, though.
It was a really sad scene.
Like that was rough.
And then he has to leave. He's gotten shore leave to go to his stepbrother's wedding.
No, it's not just his stepbrother's wedding. It is his stepbrother's wedding to his high school girlfriend. Because we find this out towards the middle of the book that she dated him to get to his stepbrother.
His older brother.
All throughout high school.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Wow. And like the commitment that requires, because like it's not like being like a BFF, you know, like I'm going to be a BFF. We're going to have movie night. I'll hang out at your house still. She was just like fucking his brains out.
Well, it's not like it's a hardship. Apparently, Blue McCoy's a fucking god in bed, even at 18.
Yeah,
so, like,
he doesn't smell like Cool Ranch Doritos at all.
Oh my God, you got an orgasm in high school? Good for you, girl.
Honestly. Oh my God, honestly.
I have a very important question.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed this in Prince Joe. I also noticed it in this book. Was people, like, knowing what a Navy SEAL is a thing that happened because of 9/11 or something? Because, like, nobody in either of these books had any idea what the fuck a Navy SEAL was. And I was like, what?
I know.
What? It threw me off every single time when they were like, what's a Navy SEAL? And, like, she's this fancy lady in town because she knows what a Navy SEAL is and she knows about Hell Week and all of these things. And I was like,
when did G.I. Jane come out? You know what I mean? When did Demi Moore shave her head for that?
G.I. Jane wasn't a Navy SEAL.
I swear to God, she was a Navy SEAL. Was she a Marine?
It just threw me out because it happens over and over and over in this book. Like, one of the key things late in the book is when they're like, you didn't tell us that Navy SEALs are martial arts experts. And I was like, what?
That's what makes them paranormal creatures, Chief of Police. Don't you know that? They're martial arts, they're demo, they're all the...
Do you know how sad I am that I share a last name with the sheriff?
I hear you.
I clocked it the minute it showed up on book, and I was like, he's going to end up being a fucking
He's going to be a nightmare. Nightmare.
And he was,
to be clear.
So anyway,
okay, we have to get to the actual book, though. Okay, so he's going home for this wedding, and she is a cop in town. She's not, like, born and raised in South Carolina. Instead, she moved there, and so, like, a lot of people called her Yankee. And in the prologue, when they were doing that paragliding mission, he and Joe Cat, Prince Joe of Prince Joe fame, talked about how the girl reminded him of a girl he used to know back home, Yankee, Lucy, whoever. And Joe's like, oh my God, I've never heard you talk about a girl other than Jenny, the one that your stepbrother's been banging. Oh, like, you might need to look her up if you're actually thinking about her. And he's like, no, there's no reason to do that.
Never.
But he goes home and he walks into a diner and she's there.
She's on lunch.
This is all from her perspective, though.
Yeah, so she's on lunch with her friend Susan, who has one of the funniest. I couldn't stop. I really like immediately I was in love with Susan or Sarah. Her name's Sarah, but she just like tickled me pink. She kept saying things. So like one time she said, "I'm 9 months pregnant with a child that has obviously decided not to be born until he's old enough to vote." Yeah, and I died laughing. And then she asked when the server came around, Iris. Iris came by and was like, "Hey, what can I get for you?" And Sarah looks at her and she's like, "I need marzipan or almond paste or that fruitcake my mom used to make." And Iris was like, "We don't sell any of that. You can't have any of that." And Sarah's response was, "My life is an endless string of disappointments, and I have never felt more seen by a fucking character, feeling so fucking inconvenienced because the restaurant that they're at won't serve her something that they don't make." Honestly, if that had happened to me today, that would have been my response. Like, I would have been like, my life is over.
It's
just the drama of Sarah brought me a lot of joy. I'm sad we didn't see more of her on page.
Yeah. And so Lucy knows about this big wedding because it's like the social event of the season, and she's going to be there in her cop capacity. Yeah.
Okay, by the way, listener, just so you know, Melody grew up in small town. I live in small town. So there's going to be a lot of comments about how accurate a lot of the shit in this book is. Like this, like Susan Brockmann definitely lived at some point in her life in a small town. Because like I was reading it and I was like, ooh, yeah, that's exactly how that would go down.
Yeah. Yeah. And so he walks into the diner. She sees him. And he scans the whole place, and out of everybody in the entire diner, he does a chin nod to her.
Why is a chin nod so sexy?
I don't know. And she's like, oh my God, everybody's been wondering if Blue McCoy was going to come home for his brother's wedding. And it turns out the answer is yes. And she's very excited about it.
Yeah.
But then she gets called out on a 1095.
Oh my God. This is the best thing ever. So Annabelle
which used
is
to be a
465. Annabelle is the police station operator. Like
God, she's so funny.
Whatever. And she is from California. And she is...
No, she's not even from California. She just got obsessed with the California coding system.
She's not from California. Oh my God, that makes it even better. So she's like obsessed with the code system. And so she's like, to be clear, they live in a small fucking town. Yeah. Shit doesn't happen in this small town. But Annabelle's like, yeah, there's a 1065 that's turned into a 415 with a 980183. And literally Lucy's like, I'm going to need you to translate because I don't know what the fuck any of that means, girl. And so Annabelle is like, there was a disturbance that has turned into a problem, essentially.
Yeah.
You're closest. Can you go take care of it? So Lucy does. And this is the most small town bullshit I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
So we have 3 characters. We have Merle. Merle is hiding up a tree, a fancy jasmine.
Japanese maple.
Yeah, and he's hiding up a tree, brandishing a hunting knife because Leroy, the town drunk's Doberman, has gotten off the chain and has chased him up the tree. Yep. And then we also have another dude, who is holding a shotgun on Merle and demanding he get out of his prized Japanese maple. And so she walks up, and so there's guns, there's knives. Leroy's just cackling.
Yeah, Leroy loves this.
Yeah, and then she walks up, and of course, Doberman turns around and is like, I'm gonna come at you. Oh,
and Leroy's like, don't you write me a ticket or I'll sick my dog on you. And she's like, did you just threaten an officer of the law? Because she's been on the force for 6 months. She's still considered like a rookie. And so this goes sideways. Also, it's pouring down rain for no goddamn reason whatsoever.
That's the South for you, though.
That's
just
for
how
sure.
It is down here.
For sure. So she loses control of the situation. And suddenly, from the side of her, she hears, I would put that weapon down if I were you, Andy, because I've got an Uzi. And it does 16 rounds a second or something like that. And I could take you out.
Light you up. Cut you in half, buddy.
Yeah. And so he does. And then he's like, aren't you going to ticket him for having a firearm or whatever? And she's like, I really do need to do that because it's against the law.
And he hands it to her and he's like, I mean, you let Travie walk around with one of these. And she's like, no, we don't. And then she looks down. It's a toy gun.
It's a toy gun.
The whole thing.
Oh, it's great. So then she's like, well, thank you for that, but I did sort of have it handled. Like, I could have, fixed it. And he's like, no, absolutely. I totally know that you could have. And then she says, but I don't know how to thank you because she has had a crush on him since she was 14, and he saved her from the varsity baseball team, all just wailing on her.
Yeah.
Why was that
learning
a thing?
Learning more about that situation just made me angrier and angrier.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, she's had a crush on him for years. And so she's like, oh, I don't know how I could possibly thank you. And he goes, I do. Come to the rehearsal dinner with me tonight as my date. Yeah.
To be clear, they have identified each other as sexy human beings. Also, Susan Brockmann has a thing for heroines that you wouldn't exactly describe as pretty.
Yeah,
but there's something about them.
Just something about them.
Like, there's something, okay, so reading both of these books back to back, I caught so many little things. I was like, well, that's officially a Susan Brockmann go-to. All right.
Okay, since you have a better memory of this, did Prince Joe or anyone in that book say mercy? Or was that specifically a Blue McCoy thing?
Mercy.
Mercy.
How does Blue say it?
Oh, he says it at least 4 times.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
I'm gonna Google it in the Kindle. Anyway, so she's like, why? She's in her brain and she's like, why in the world would he ask me to a rehearsal dinner? Me, just Lucy McTomboy, nobody. He never even looked at me before. I can't believe it. And then she's like, there's the heat in his eyes because he wants to fuck my brains out.
By the way, both Prince Joe and this book, I could see the movie.
Yeah, sure.
In my brain. Like, honestly, I'm shocked that there is not a rom-com out there based on this series. You know what I mean? Like, this book is just so fucking bonkers.
11 times he says mercy as either a single word sentence with an exclamation point, period, or it starts the sentence out, mercy, comma, he wanted to make love to her again tonight is one of them.
Mercy. Hang on, I'm looking it up right now on Prince Joe. So mercy and Prince Joe, no results. It's a Blue McCoy thing.
Okay, it's a Blue McCoy thing. I support that.
So already, though, before we even, like, jump into this book, right?
Yeah.
Freaking from Git, she realizes that he wants to dick her down. And immediately she's like, could I really love a man that I know is going to be loving somebody else? I'm looking at a quote right now. Could she really love a man?
Sorry. Yeah.
Could she really love a man who knew would be loving someone else? Some other woman? This time next month? Or hell, maybe even next week? And that's way more Southern Belle than she actually is as a human.
Totally.
But, like,
doesn't matter.
Because she's a Yankee. But regardless, like, but her
whole thing is, I catch feelings when I see a dick.
A condom would help with some of the physical dangers, but what about her emotional safety? My note was she needs a heart condom. It's fine.
It's fine.
Then I have a question for you, Melody.
Please tell me everything.
But how could she pass up her wildest, hottest sexual fantasy? Mm-hmm. Do you still have sex fantasies about people from high school from 12 years ago?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No.
I'm
Absolutely not.
Smack dab in that, like, the very end. I'm about to age out of 12 years out of high school, right? And actually, no, I already have. So I can honestly tell you, I've never had a sexual fantasy since leaving high school.
To be fair, like, there were 13 people in my entire high school class. So I didn't have a sexual fantasy about literally any of them. There was one person who was 2 years older than me that I thought about, like, maybe kissing. But, like, no.
Ooh.
I was so on the get me the fuck out of here train that I was not doing on any of that. So, I'm a weird case.
Okay,
there was also a bunch of opioids and meth, you know.
I had a lot of fantasies about a lot of people in my high school. Ooh. To be fair, I went to a high school of like 4,000 people. So like there was a lot of choice. But
there were 400 people in my whole town.
Yeah.
Different versions of small town.
Yeah.
Should we call it a micro town?
Yeah, that's technically in Arkansas, that's a village.
Ooh, it's a village. Yeah. Oh my God.
But yeah, okay. It's just like, I saw that and I was like, what a sad life.
And it doesn't seem sexual. I mean, and in her, like, quasi defense, she knows when she's staring down the barrel of Andy's shotgun, she's like, if Andy kills me today, what do I have to show for my fucking life? Like, this is terrible. And part of the reason is because she has not updated her sexual fantasies since she was 15, apparently.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she decides, I'm going to go. And she gets a little black dress from her friend Sarah. She gets her hair piled on top of her head, you know, in one of those messy but chic, I just put this up, I'm so great kind of hairdos. She does more than just her standard lip gloss situation. She wore eyeshadow and a mascara.
And mascara. So she shows up to this place, though.
And because she's, like, so tall, Sarah's dress is like short, but on
a
her
mini dress practically.
ooh, her legs are 7 miles long, it says at one point.
Yeah, and so she walks in and she notices that his eyes keep just like glossing over her as if he doesn't even see her, and she's like, he doesn't even recognize me, he doesn't even like me. Like,
this
remember
was really relatable. Like,
yeah, that's a mood, though.
How dare you? I am like, I look so good you don't recognize me? What the fuck is that?
Like,
anyway,
why don't you recognize me, bro?
Yeah. I'm
you don't think
gorgeous
I'm
all the
pretty?
time. Yeah.
You don't think I'm pretty?
Anyway, it's here's
Turns
the thing,
out
guys. He recognized her. He was just doing a long distance neg on her because he was going to send her away to protect her, question mark.
Well, yeah, because
her
he walked in and
reputation.
immediately realized that, like, and she had already registered this, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Like she knew. She was like, the minute I go into that reception dinner with Blue and I'm seen with him, tongues are gonna be wagging.
I'm a sideshow at that
tongues are gonna be wagging.
Because that's the whole thing. Everybody's like, is Blue McCoy gonna go? Because he's still hung up on Jenny Lee. And
They're
not.
so convinced of it.
Yeah.
He hasn't come home and he hasn't come back to town for 12 years because he just so secretly in love with Jenny Lee.
And like, listener, I don't mean to spoiler alert you, but this goes on until like 10 pages from the end. The heroine is still like, oh, Jenny Lee.
Oh my God, don't even get me started on that shit yet, okay?
Okay.
Just wait until the end of the book, because I really enjoyed this book, but there are definitely moments in this book where I was like, I'm gonna fucking strangle somebody.
Yeah, you're a dummy dumb. And like, not a hot one at this point. Yeah. You're too dumb to be hot.
It's one of those things where like, this heroine sometimes does things that it's stuff that like, you know what? I came to this book with an open mind.
Yes.
Or an open heart and a wary mind. And occasionally the wary mind was like, oh, yep, there it is. There it is.
So he goes to the balcony door and he does a very subtle, like, come over here kind of dealio. And she's like, oh, I guess he did recognize me.
He did.
Golly.
Oh, ma.
So she goes over there and he's like, I tried not to do a double take out there and I was successful. But now that she's coming out here on this balcony, I can do all the double takes I want. And like, he's just eating her up with his eyeballs.
Double taking like a crazy thing.
Yeah.
He's making up for lost time. And then they chat for a hot second and kind of reminisce about the time that he saved her from the baseball bullies. Because it turns out we got a special girl here. She was the first gal.
She was a
on
Title
the
IX
boys baseball team.
She did a big Title IX in
yeah.
South Carolina. Fuck yeah.
She's also the first woman on the police force.
Yes.
In this town.
And also the first Yankee.
And the first Yankee.
There is a moment.
Somebody get her a trophy.
Yeah. There is a moment when they're going back and forth and he's basically telling her that like she should have tried harder to get his attention in high school. And he's like, where's that Yankee determination I've read about so often? And I was just like, ooh, the Civil War references in here were, they were not subtle.
No, they weren't. No, they weren't. Although I was really glad. There were a couple of times where like she fucking called some bitches in this small ass town out, and it made me so fucking happy.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like, yeah, it was great. So anyway, they're chatting, and then she's like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm going for it. And then she pulls his face down, and she does smackaroo a big one on him.
She does a big smooch on his whole face part.
She just goes for it.
Yeah, and then of course it turns into like way more, and
he
starts doing a big
her up
grab
against a wall, and he like puts his hand up her leg and
got
up her nylons, her like, nylon smooth thigh.
Oh, her nylon smooth thigh, and then he realizes they're thigh highs, and he does a big on her, and then and then she's like, she's thinking to herself, I'm an officer of the law. I couldn't possibly break the public decency rules of this here country club.
So then he says, like, he starts to pull away, and he tells her, all I know is I'd do damn near anything to make love to you right now, Lucy. And she's like, maybe if I play my cards right, we can make that wedding on Saturday a double ceremony.
Ooh.
And he's like, I said, damn near anything. Like, I guess getting married falls into that description. Sure, but why wait till Saturday? We can fly out to Las Vegas and get hitched tonight.
Oh my God.
Now. And I was like, he just called the shit out of her bluff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So then he's like, all right, let's go right now. And she goes, no, you're going to go make your excuses and then we'll go. Like, you're not going to Irish goodbye this thing because that'll create even more talk, you know? And also, she still kind of needs everybody to prove to her that he's not hung up on Jenny Lee and she's not just like a placeholder lady. So he goes back in. But his brother, who he's not been able to talk to at all yet, is in a heated discussion with J.W. Fisher, the Tobacco King. And he's like, oh,
who's
man. Who's
apparently a very fit 75-year-old man.
Is so fit, surprisingly fit. Real fit, she says. So he's like, oh, man, my brother's been trying to get into, like, the business good graces of J.W. Fisher for years. I don't want to interrupt his business talk. And so instead, I'm just going to make my excuses to Jenny Lee, and then I'll go. But then when he gets over to Jenny Lee, he's around her, little biddies who are just the talk of they're just the little birdies that go around town talking. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's the biddy patrol.
But yeah, well, and he immediately realizes that something's fishy. Something's fishy up in here, and so he's
because
like,
she's
Jenny,
like, oh, I really wanted to talk to you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they go dance, and Jenny Lee is like, there's something weird happening. I think I made a mistake by inviting you. Jerry's been acting super strange, and the only thing I can think is that it's because we invited you. And so I kind of need you to leave. And he's like, oh, okay, that's no problem. Like, whatever. But as this is happening, then, okay, so she clocks this, right? She comes in after he's gone for like 15
minutes.
Yeah, especially when you know he was fighting that boner on the way in there.
Oh,
like,
yeah, he walked in there hard as stone.
Too long to be fighting that boner and not have something weird happening. And so she's like, oh, he's dancing with his dream girl. I am just a placeholder. Fuck this. I'm going to go. But then
I just have one comment before we get into but then.
Oh, please.
And I just thought of it. So their plan after this is to go back to his hotel room, and they both like
motel room.
Well, yeah, motel room. And they kept talking. She was like, and just how amazing it would be for him to like throw me up against the wall and like make love to me on the bed. And immediately my brain, I was thinking Motel 6.
Oh, it is. It's worse than that.
Yeah.
It's like an independent Motel 6.
It's like, yeah. And I was like, I don't want to have sex in that room.
My immediate thought while reading this book and also making mulch in my front yard was, this is the end-all be-all fantasy coming true? Is you fucking in that
I had
dirty
not
motel
registered
room?
that, and that is the most depressing thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I'm thinking right now of the skeeziest motel I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. Like the most run down fucking small town that doesn't get guests ever. Like, I
do have to do a quick confession just to you, Sabrina. It has to stay between you and me, okay? I'm pretty sure that I've talked about this on Patreon, so maybe some listener know. But famously, the day that I decided to have sex for the first time, or penetrative sex for the first time, and give away my virginity, it was on a trip, a schoolish trip. And I was staying at the Hilton Garden Inn, but his team was staying at a Motel 6. Or maybe it was an Econo Lodge.
Room.
It was an Econo Lodge. And the only place.
Oh, Melody.
Wait for it. The only place we could go and have sex was at this Econo Lodge because they had an extra room because one of the sinks in their rooms that they had booked would not work. So the motel was just like, use this other room. Like, sleep wherever you want. The sink only works in this room. And so that is where I wrote a D for the first time. It wasn't my fantasy come to life, but it did the job. You know what I mean?
Wow. Impressive.
I know. I'm really adaptive, you know? I'm very go with the flow.
No
So
joke.
anyway.
It's fine. My first time was on the bottom bunk of my girlfriend's bunk bed that she shared with her sister. So
Her blood sister?
Mhm.
Oh no, it's one thing if it's like a college dorm mate.
Well,
But her sister's
that's what you
a
do
lot.
in high school.
You do. Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
So back to
So-
actual pod.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for taking that journey with us. So he's like about to say goodbye to Jenny Lee, but then Jerry comes over, hammered as fuck, and he's like, "Get
Uh-huh.
away from my girl! You can't have her!"
Oh god.
Like,
And
burr,
he
burr,
says
burr.
the meanest shit to Blue.
Yeah, he does.
He's like, "You're not my brother. I don't want you hanging around. I didn't want you around when we were kids. I don't want you around now. You're awful. I've never wanted to be." Oh god. And Blue's face is like falling, and he
Yeah.
never shows emotion because he's a big bad
Ooh,
Navy SEAL
he's-
alpha.
He's masculine man. He does man stuff only.
It is stated multiple times that this is a man who does not cry.
No, he does no. Men, no. He is a man, and he will only do man things. Doesn't include
Yeah.
having any sort of emotional intelligence. Okay, so let's just real quick give them the backstory, real quick. His mom knew that she had cancer, and so she did entrap this man in South Carolina into marriage.
So that when she died, her son would have a family?
And that
Do
was
you
her
not
dream.
have a sibling? Do you not have parents?
I mean,
nobody else except for this strange man that
this
you
strange
met
man.
and were married to for 5 months. Could
5
take this
months. And I think this is not like confirmed in the text, but my understanding is that that man did not know that she had any kind of illness, let alone a terminal one.
That was the impression I got too. I was
So
like,
she really
oh.
did entrap this man into adopting her son when she died, but her dream didn't come true because he says later on that her dream was for, you know, him to grow up with somebody who loved him. And like, that's not how this guy felt. This guy was all obligation.
Literally,
no
it was
enthusiasm.
like he gave this child a bed and food, and that
Yeah.
was the extent of what he did.
But
So,
the
like,
one good thing about his childhood was Jerry, his stepbrother. They were
Oh,
actually
God.
close and they were actually friends. And so hearing Jerry say, "I didn't want you around as a kid and I don't want you around now," is like heartbreaking on so many levels,
Yeah.
in
And
addition to the
then-
public humiliation.
And then Jerry starts going off about his mom and all of that, and that's when Blue loses it. And he like shoves Jerry up against a column in this room, and he like has his arm at his throat, and he's like, "Don't you always gonna let you say whatever you wanted to say about
Yeah,
me?
be gone too
but
far.
don't you say nothing about my mama."
That's right. And then the chief of police steps in and he's like, boys, I'm going to have to ask you to break apart. And Blue, I'm going to need you to skedaddle. All right.
And then Sheriff, the name that will not be mentioned because I refuse to share a name with this man,
That's fair.
says, "You on duty tonight, Tate?" And she's like, no. Like,
No, I'm
clearly
not.
she's not. She's in a fuck me dress. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think,
She has
Sheriff?
mascara on, sir.
How dare you? Well, then, oh, how the turns table. Because Sheriff says, "I'm ordering you to escort Lieutenant McCoy back to his motel." And he, like, that was the goal. That was, in fact, the goal of the evening.
It was the goal, but then...
But not now.
But yeah, so he's like, sorry about that. And she's like, me too. And so they leave. And he's still like, how about we go chat over a beer at a bar? And she's like, no, I got to go make a report. And he says, all right, well, if you're ever in California, you look me up and I would love to see you again. And so he fucks off. And then she goes home and she's like sad. Everybody's sad, okay? And then at 4 a.m, she gets a call from dispatch, Annabelle, being like, you got to come down here because all hell's breaking loose. And apparently California doesn't have a code for all hell breaking loose. But Annabelle does tell her that a missing person did turn into... Specifically,
Annabelle says, shortly after that, the 1065 became a 1054. At 356, Doc Harrington verified it. We've got ourselves a 187. And Lucy's like, I'm going to need you to fucking translate again.
I just woke up, man.
And yeah, it turns out there was a missing person, and missing person became a dead body.
Dead body into a homicide.
And turns that homicide was Jerry McCoy.
Jerry McCoy got murdered.
Yeah.
And so all of the policemen are like, we got to find that other McCoy boy. And she remembers that he said that he's going to take a bus to the nearest town that has an airport. And so she does a Sherlock Holmes and she figures out which bus he's probably
Smart
on.
of her.
Yeah.
I never would have figured this out.
Yeah, she does a big Sherlock Holmes. And so she follows him, pulls the bus over, gets him out. And he's been like thinking about her and dreaming about her the whole time. He hiked the 15 miles to the bus station.
Well, yeah, because he's a fucking Navy SEAL. So like hiking 15 miles at 3 a.m. ain't a big fucking deal. Like whatever. That's an easy night, man.
Sure. But now he's been on a bus for forever or whatever. And then on the side of the road, she's like, I would love for you to sit down. And he says, I don't need to sit down to get bad news. So I really need you to just tell me.
And then she keeps hesitating. And he's like, come on, Yankee. If it's going to hurt, do it fast. Just get it over with.
And he says, playing games isn't your style. And that's one of the things he likes about her the most.
Oh my God, this woman takes no shit. For somebody who gives herself a lot of shit and gives herself the runaround, she won't let anybody else do it.
It's great. It's honestly great. He's like, Lucy just gives it to me straight, and I value that a lot. So he's like, okay, and I'm the main suspect. And she's like, well, family is usually one of the first we look at anyway. And there was that big public altercation that you did have.
One of the things that's fucking him up is the last thing that he ever said that they ever said to each other was in anger.
Yeah.
Oh God, this broke my fucking heart.
I know. So she's like, all right, we're going to take you back to the motel. We're going to figure this out. And then she has to do police work. And so I was already like, does the chief of police just not know that they were on a date? Because she should not be on this case at all, period, the end.
No, he definitely didn't know. Nobody knew.
Okay. That's fair.
So she gets put as the head of the investigation because fucking Blue McCoy, he manipulated his way into it because the chief was like,
Chief dumbfuck.
This case is so open and closed and shut and all of that shit that the greenest, rookiest person that I have could take you in and make a murder case out of you. And he's like, okay, well then fucking prove it. And so he got kind of backed the chief into the corner and he's like, all right, you're on the case, Lucitate.
Well, and so meanwhile, she finds this out, right? And then she sees Blue McCoy somewhere. And so she takes him on a stroll on the beach in order to do an interrogation.
Yeah.
She does a stroll on the beach, interrogate on him, because she is a maverick. And she finds out his whereabouts or whatever, but all of that time he has no alibi.
Also, don't worry, listener, we do find out on the beach that he does have nice, strong-looking feet, apparently, with high arches and long, straight toes. Don't worry.
My God, I forgot about that.
I didn't. Don't worry, listener.
That is in Sabrina's brain for a minute. It's going to be there for a while.
Yep.
And then,
unfortunately, my note literally when I highlighted that was why. What did I do to deserve this?
Okay, so what happens next?
It just came out of left field, Melody. It always comes out of left field. Why?
Yeah, it's always a surprise. It's just like a confetti balloon.
Oh, God. But anyway, so they're talking, and this is when we find out that apparently Jerry wanted to ask Blue to come to the reception early and meet with him. And then Jerry just never showed up. And so that's what Blue was actually looking for in the room, like in the reception room. He was waiting to see Jerry walk in. And he just never did. And then the first time that they ended up talking was
the drunken altercation.
Yeah. So this is when they start being like, okay, well, you can't leave town, so let's go get some food and figure out what our plan is. And then they walk into that same little diner, and it's very clear that he is not fucking welcome. And like,
and one of the deputies
such a real fucking small town thing, though. Like, if everybody thinks you're guilty, you're gonna be treated guilty. Yep. Like,
absolutely,
it don't fucking matter what the facts are. And I can only imagine it's a million times worse in the 90s. Like,
probably
it's bad enough now.
And one of the actual police officers is like, get out of here. He killed his brother. He's a brother killer. I'm not eating in the same restaurant as him. And she's like, what happened to guilty until proven innocent? And he's like, we all saw it. Like, that's Travis Sotheby. And so she's like, okay, Iris, the lady at the diner, gets her stuff to go. Mm-hmm. And then they leave.
Well, because like he goes to, I totally forgot. So I actually fucked it up. They don't go in together. She's already there. He walks in.
Oh, that's right.
And this is when he goes to get a table, and Iris is like, I'm sorry, that table's reserved. And they're all like,
nah, we don't reserve tables here.
And Lucy's like, well, that's fine. You can come sit with me in this big old booth. I have plenty of fucking space. And so he goes to sit with her. And then Iris is like, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to ask you to leave. And then they're all talking. And then this is some fucked up shit that starts getting talked about. People are like, what happened to the good old days? And this is when Lucy stands up and she's like, oh, you mean lynching? How fucking dare you?
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck back. It was not better when your great-great-granddaddy was running around pretending that he was king of the world and could fucking, like, he was judge, jury, and executioner. Like, get fucked, Leroy. And I was very happy about that.
Oh, yeah. So then after that, she's like, why do you have all your stuff? And he's like, well, I was told that the whole motel is sold out. She's like, that motel has never been sold out.
And then this son of a bitch, she was like, what are we going to do? Just sleep outside? And he's like, well, yeah.
I guess.
I'm a Navy SEAL. I've slept
totally
worse
fine.
Places. I can do it.
So turns out that the proprietor of the motel is actually the brother of that Travis Sotheby police officer. And so he's not going to let him stay there. And he can't leave, like, I guess the city limits, ? And so she's like,
yeah,
I know the exact thing, the only solution that I could possibly come up with.
Well, no, she's like, I mean, you could stay at the jail. And he's like, abso-fucking-lutely not.
Yeah, he'd rather sleep
staying
rough.
At the jail. Yeah.
Yeah.
And literally my note here was, oh my God, she's going to have him sleep at her house.
Yeah. The lead investigator of his brother's murder.
So to be clear,
in which he is the prime suspect.
To be clear, listener.
What?
There's some, like, even beyond all of the rampant bad things in the background happening that you're gonna find out about. There's some questionable, at best, police work happening here. Like, at best.
Questionable? This bitch later on tries to say she did nothing wrong. And I'm just cackling.
So
this is a glaring conflict of interest.
Invites him to come fucking stay at his house. And then they get back to her house and they're talking it out, right?
And they're like on the porch.
And he almost kisses her.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, like, we can't do that. Like, I'm officially the investigator. Like, there's going to be no kissing. There's going to be no canoodling,
Not
sir.
a canoodle in sight.
Absolutely. Or out of sight.
Get your pasta out of here.
Oh, my God.
So then she's like, you think I'm a sure thing, but it turns out I'm just a hot shot police investigator. And so because of that, I can't have anything to do with you or your noodle. And so you're going to stay here, but it's going to be strictly professional. All right. We're just professionals at our work jobs.
Professional.
It's totally
so
fine.
Then this is when we find out that Lucy is basically like a Navy SEAL expert. Like, she found out when she was a kid that he was leaving for Navy SEAL camp, and that's not anyway.
Yeah, no, Navy SEAL camp. That's exactly what it is.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's what she found out in all of her research. Yeah.
Yep. It's just a camp.
Yeah.
Just a little getaway.
She became a weird stalker girl.
Obsessed with Navy SEAls.
Read books about Navy SEAls all the time on the weekends and stuff.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Like I said, she is probably the county expert, if not the state expert on a Navy SEAL, except for the people who are actually Navy SEAls.
I don't know, honestly.
They were, and she's like, I'm so sorry. There's no shade on Navy SEAls. Just the way that they talk about Navy SEAls in this book killed me. Because, like, it was just so much like...
They're paranormal creatures.
Different kind of American hero. They're tough. They're smart. They're mean. They're dedicated. They want this. And I was like, God. By the way, question though. Who yay? Is that it? Is that what the Navy SEAls say? Because it came up in both Prince Joe and in this book. Who yay? Not hoorah. And also that's Marines, isn't it?
What? I swear to God, is it hoo-yah?
Yeah, that's it. Hoo-yah, not hoo-yay. But still, hoo-yah.
Oh, yeah.
Is that what they...
Yeah, it is
sorry.
hoo-yah. No, that's the whole Navy.
Really? Navy says that? Why are the different... So the Marines say hoo-rah.
Yes.
And then Navy says hoo-yah. What do the rest of them say?
I fly planes. I do infantry stuff. Yeah. Hoo-yah is the battle cry used in the United States Navy. I hope my brother never hears this episode. He does listen to the podcast. Babich, if you hear this, I'm so sorry I said hoorah. It's really silly of me. I know it's hoo-yah. So
I had no idea.
Don't put me in sister jail.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah. Okay. She just goes down. He
tells her to lock her door at night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He says, I'm fine with you putting up a boundary, but if there is an unlocked door to your bedroom, I'm going to come in and bone you down. I'm going to consider that the invitation it is. And so for the first few nights, she does lock that door.
Lock that door.
Yeah.
Well, then the next day, though, she wakes up and she thinks that he has not woken up yet. She's like, wow, he sleeps in awful late. Wow. Well, turns out he's just already out and
He's
about.
already been on a run.
Yeah.
He had 2 hours of sleep last night because he was thinking about that cooch.
She leaves for the station and he gets back and the fucking kitchen door is locked because she thinks he's asleep. And he's like, yeah, it's fine. I'll find a window.
And then I had a moment as a plant lady. Turns out being a plant lady can help with your securities. Okay?
Well, if the person gives a single flying shit.
Or if they don't want to make noise.
My first thought was that you would be horny that he cared enough not to knock the plants
horny
over.
For that. Yeah. Okay. Because she had things rooting in water on the windowsill, and so it would be like a bitch to move all of the things that were rooting in water. And I was like,
it's fine. Instead, he just crawled to the second floor and crawled in through her bedroom window.
Well, listen, if it's not a Navy SEAL, then I'm my own personal Simply Safe. Just with my plant addiction. You know what I mean? That's great.
Don't test that. Don't test that theory, Melody.
All right, fine. So
okay, bing boom bong.
Okay, bing boom
True
bong.
crime with Sabrina. Don't fucking trust that the flowers are gonna keep the bads out of your kitchen, okay?
Oh my God, I have a completely different true crime bing boom bong, and that is crime scene investigation with Melody.
Oh
What?
my God.
The fuck?
You can tell this is a
was
fucking
this?
small town that does not get murders.
So she comes home with donuts and coffees, and there's a note on the thing being like, gonna go check out where my brother died. Meet you there, Carter, Blue. And so she goes out, and he like just materializes at her side, and she realizes it's because he's not just a Navy SEAL. He's a point man for the Navy SEALs. So that means that he can lead his men into any situation right under the enemy's nose. He can basically cut the enemy's toenails and they won't know it. And
Why?
he's just because he's a
Why
silent.
is that the example?
Because he's a silent man who
Why is that
is
got to be the
a
example,
paranormal.
though?
Oh, you're right. That was fucked up of me.
Why?
I'm so sorry.
Why would you do that? I know that wasn't in the book. I would have clocked that in the book.
That was a moment.
That was all Melody.
That was a moment of bad friendship. I'm so sorry about
I
that.
thought you loved me.
I do love you. It was a slip up, and I apologize.
And then- oh God. Okay.
So anyway, he's like, I've been walking around in, gradually enlarging circles. Yeah.
Of important note,
Mhm.
she has been told by the people at the station that she has to disarm this Navy
Yes.
SEAL, which means she's going to have to frisk him.
She's got to do a frisk on him. Not looking forward to it.
Because that's coming back. Well,
Yeah,
'cause
I don't
she's
find
horny
that
pants for
relatable.
him.
Yeah, but I don't find that relatable. I would be more
What?
excited to frisk someone at that point.
Yeah, and you'd probably miss all the weapons too, Melody. We already know this.
I wouldn't miss the biggest weapon, I'll tell you that much.
Oh my God. Locked and loaded, baby.
Ooh, okay.
Oh man. But like for real though, talking about like actual so he goes up to the crime scene, and also so when they get to the fucking crime scene, it's been trampled all over. Like,
yeah, because like I guess paramedics showed up, and also it's a small town who doesn't know about
they don't know shit
deaths or whatever.
about.
But most of this place has been processed, I guess, except that they didn't go as far as he did, like scanning the terrain. So he's like, the one thing I found is over here, and I would love to show it to you. It's basically like a monster truck tire tread, and they're brand new tires. And so she's like, the killer could have been coming in on this truck. And so they call into the station to be like, please send out the plaster cast boys so that we can get an impression of these truds that the main suspect did find, but didn't place there or didn't have any knowledge of previous to this. Totally fine.
Now this is also our next segment today, Bing Boom Bong. Probably bad police work with Sabrina.
Okay, yeah.
Pretty sure you're not allowed to tell your lead suspect about the autopsy and what was found in that. You also can't tell him all of these plans that are like all of everything that's running through your head about the I understand that you believe he's innocent. I understand that.
Sure.
However, man,
you don't know that for a fact.
You really don't. And what? She's like, well, he looked me dead in the eye and told, and I'm like, ma'am, he's a Navy SEAL. You think that he's gonna not be able to lie to you dead in the face?
I mean,
and
even
not,
if he's not a Navy SEAL, like he is a human being who doesn't want to go to jail.
I understand that, but like specifically, like it's been such a big deal made out of the fact that he's a Navy SEAL, and like you think this man can go into other countries? This man speaks a whole fucking other language, so he can blend in and like what the fuck do you?
Yeah, you don't think he's
man,
practiced
you're the
being
expert
tortured
here,
right?
Like what the fuck? Like
yeah, people have play tortured him so that he won't mess up an interrogation. Anyway, so then she's like, "Oh, I did get reminded that I have to disarm you, you Navy SEAL, you." And he's like, "Well, I'm not packing anything." Yeah.
One thing. Before this happens, he says to her, "Careful, or folks are going to say that this isn't an unbiased investigation." And she says out, like from the words of Lucy's own mouth, "Yeah, well, it's not."
It's
and
not.
I was like, You're so fucking lucky, Lucy, that he's actually in it. You're a terrible police officer.
I mean,
Lucy.
but also you're not, because like this is a defense attorney's fucking dream.
Oh yeah.
Like they can tear this investigation apart on so
that Navy
many
attorney
levels.
would have come in here and just shredded this.
Not even just a Navy attorney. Like if a Navy of the actual killer would be
unless they were like
the lead investigator was fucking the main suspect, and like the main suspect found
and
a bunch of the
fucking
evidence.
yet, but like all of the this whole situation, like there. No way would this man be convicted and it not be overturned. You know? Like,
or
there was
anyone. Like, literally, it does not matter if it's him or not. This is a defense attorney's fucking dream. So, anyway, so she's like, I gotta do a frisk on you. And he says, I would never carry a weapon. She says, look me in the eye and tell me you're not packing. And he says, I'm not packing. And she says, wow. Now we've established that you can lie to my face.
Oh boy.
So they do a bunch of like frisk chicken.
Oh my god. And it was like their banter back and forth was pretty cute about it, actually. And then
she finds 3 weapons on him.
I really loved this though.
Okay.
Because the last weapon she finds, he had hit it like under his penis sack.
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, you're not gonna look for this. And before she even went for it, she was like, I really hope that something's actually there, because she straight up grabs his crotch.
Yeah.
And found metal. And it just made me laugh a lot. Okay.
So no, absolutely. So when they started this whole thing, he was like, of course I'm going to lie to your face. I would lie to motherfucking, Mother Teresa.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a Navy SEAL and I won't be unarmed anytime ever. Period. The end.
Oh my God. And then she's a ding dong again. And he calls her out on this, thank God. Because she's like, all right, I'm not reaching in there. Hand it to me. So this motherfucker pulls the gun out of his pants, points at her, gets in a firing position, and he's like, hands up! And she raises her hands like,
and then
oh
falls
my God.
on her ass.
Yeah.
And then she shuffles back until she falls down and bruises her tailbone.
And he says, damn it, Lucy, you ID'd a weapon on my person and then you had me get it myself? That is damned stupid.
That is wild.
Like, yeah. And she's like, well, I did it. And he's like, no, what you do is you tell me to drop my pants and drop my drawers, and then you fucking pick it up off the ground. You do not tell your you're lucky I'm the suspect, Lucy.
Yeah. Then she tries
There's so many times in this book where I was like, Lucy is so fucking lucky.
She's so bad at her job.
Suspect.
She's so bad at her job.
And like this is beyond 6-month rookie bad at her job.
I mean,
to be clear, we find out this has not always been her dream, right? She has not always wanted to be it's not like she grew up as a little girl and was like, I'm gonna be a police officer when I grow up.
Right.
That's not what happened here. It's a really
she
sad
does
story
later
how she got
acknowledge
here,
that
but
she's very bad at her job.
Bad at her job.
Yeah. So anyway, so then she's like, she tries to get a little dignity back by being like, and just so we're clear, if you ever point a weapon at me again, I'll take you down to the station so fast and make you a book. I'm going to book you up is what I'm going to do. And he's like, okay, Lucy, you fucker. If oh my God, if he points a weapon at you again, you're dead. You're not going to take him anywhere, Lucy.
To be clear, anytime you see his hands, that's a weapon, Lucy.
Yeah. He is a walking martial arts weapon.
He is.
Okay.
He is all of the fucking things he can do. He can snap a neck. He can break an arm with his kicky kick.
Ooh.
We see that live.
Yeah, I'll murder you with a shoe.
Oh, yeah. It's a weapon. She took the tiny revolver. She took the Swiss Army knife. She handed him back his belt, which is his belt has a little like switchblade in it or something like that, or like a big a sharp stabby stab.
So
anyway,
the
the plaster guys get there and they're not jogging. They're like hefting all of this shit up to the thing. And then they hear dirt bikes in the distance. And he and her are both like, oh my God, a dirt bike could wipe out that evidence so fast. And they go running and they get a running on a running and they get there and all the evidence is gone.
Oh, it's all dirt biked now. It's all dirt biked.
God, all the evidence is gone.
Oh, man. Well, and like, who would have thought? You know what I mean? And so
By the
he
way,
says, I should have guarded this.
This is something of note. At the from the very beginning of this, Blue's like, this is a setup. And I'm going to get framed. I'm going to be shocked if all of your evidence does not point directly to me.
Yeah. So anyway, the evidence is gone.
This is just further proof, though. So they radioed into the station saying, hey, we need somebody to come look at this evidence. And then all of a sudden, boom, dirt bikes.
Evidence gone within 40 minutes.
Yeah. So they go back into town and to get lunch. They stop by the same food place, but she goes in alone because she's just going to get it to go because obviously he's not welcome in there. And when she gets back out, he's gone. He's not in the truck.
No. And so she follows a police car that's going fast. And she pulls up and it turns out that somebody's got a black eye. Another guy has a chain and they're fixing to beat him down. There's like 3 of them, I think. Maybe more. But Blue's just like, he doesn't look disheveled at all. He doesn't look scared at all. He just looks hopping mad or something like that.
Blue didn't even look ruffled. Just mad as hell.
Mad as hell. So he's gonna beat these boys down. And they get into like a skirmish about like who attacked who and like why and stuff.
Well, and it turns out that the reason he was even out of the truck is that Merle and Leroy were harassing him about the fact that they happened to find some dirt bikes that just got fallen off the back of some semi up by the highway.
Yeah.
And they just took them for a test drive.
Just a joyride is what they did. And so he's like, they're the ones who got rid of the evidence because somebody tipped them off and probably paid them. And they're like, well, I'll be. I can't believe you would say that about me. And so then she's like, you can't beat them in the face, though, because they're looking for any reason to lock you up. Like, cool your jets. So then they go back to her house and she tells him to like sit far away from her. And then he tells stories about being a SEAL.
So this is where she tells him, I expected more of you.
Oh, yeah.
And it hits him in a bad kind of place. So to be clear, up until now, she's had some heavy hero worship going on for this guy. And like, I mean, he's always just been this fantasy guy, you know? Yeah. And so she's always been into him, but he's realizing suddenly, like, I'm disappointed in you. And oh my God. Okay, I'm actually going to read you the quote because I highlighted it because, oh my God. So he says, if you expected more from me, that's your problem, Yankee, not mine. Because guess what? I'm not perfect. I never have been. You see me as some kind of damned hero, but I'm not. I'm flesh and blood and just as capable of screwing up as the next guy. Guess what else? I yell sometimes. I like to yell. I like to fight, but I don't always win because I'm not a hero. I'm not always right. I'm not always in control. I make mistakes, sometimes stupid mistakes. I get angry, I get hurt, I get scared, and right now I'm all 3 of those things. His voice got softer and he looked away from her out the kitchen window. Only I can't tell you that, can I? Because you expect more from me.
Ooh. And he's got her. He's got her, man. Yeah. So anyway, he tells a bunch of stories about being a SEAL because he just like wants to keep talking to her. And he doesn't want her to leave. And then he tells one story that about an instructor that told him, you got to want it badly enough. And it's a whole thing. We're not going to tell the story, but that was the key kernel. And then the next important thing that happens is that he gets jumped in a cemetery.
Well,
no. She finds that she looks at the autopsy.
No. This is their first kiss.
Oh, that's right. Oh my God.
This is when, oh boy. So we've already had the talk about how he is like, well, so we actually haven't had the unlocked door conversation yet. This is when we have it.
Okay.
So, because it's right after all of this, and he's like, I'm not what you think I am. You think I'm some kind of gentleman. You think all you have to do is tell me no and don't, even though you damn well want it as much as I do. You think that because I'm some kind of hero, I'll keep both of us from going too far. You think you can look at me with these big brown eyes, not bothering to hide how much you want me to. You think you can put me upstairs in some guest room while you sleep one flight away with your bedroom door unlocked and open as if I'm strong enough to keep us apart. But guess what? You leave that door open and unlocked tonight, and I'm going to take it as the invitation that it is. Because I'm not strong enough. I don't want to be strong enough anymore. I'm not a hero, Lucy, and I'm tired of playing one. And
if it's like, wrong, I don't want to be right.
I should not be into this. Like, fuck you, Blue. And so, but then they like chat for a second. And she's like, I can't, I won't, this can't happen, and I just can't. And then he says, maybe you can't, but I sure as hell can. And then he kisses the hell out of her. He does
a big smackaroo right on her face.
So problematic, and it was good.
Loved every moment of it.
I loved
every moment of it. Well, because then they're like heavy making out. She's like, she's gonna climb his whole body, and then he hears, I can't. But she didn't say it. She's still got her. She's still a sucker fish on his face. And so he just heard it in his brain parts.
She's in it to win it.
Honestly,
she wants that trophy penis.
She does. And it turns out that his Jiminy Cricket has her voice. And so all he hears is her saying, I can't. And he pulls back and he's like, you're right. We can't. And I gotta go, or something like that. Now we got to motor a little bit. So here are the next important things that happens. He gets jumped at a cemetery, and she's worried about him, so she tells him.
God, we're motoring, but it's depressing as fuck.
Yeah,
because he was at the cemetery to see his mom's grave after his brother's funeral, where everyone was like, "Fuck you, dude, get out of here."
Yep.
And then they jumped him and hit him with a pipe.
He did want to just visit his mama's tombstone, and they beat him all to hell. And so she tells him to get in her jacuzzi tub while she goes to the office and gets some more stuff, because I think the autopsy is back. The autopsy says that there was no alcohol.
Jerry wasn't drunk
in Jerry's system at all. Yeah. And she's like, no, he was hammered. Like, we all saw it in that altercation. He was slurring his words. He was stumbling a bit. Like, he was hammered. And so either this is a mistake or he's faking it. Or he was faking it. And so she then goes in to talk to the chief about this. And she's like, there's this discrepancy. And so I'm going to start talking to the guy that he was speaking with just before. And that was R.W. Fisher, the Tobacco King. And that's when this chief of police, Chief Shit for Brains, is like, oh, no, you're definitely not going to do that. And also, I think I'm just going to suspend you from the force altogether and like take you off the case. And she's like, what? Why would you do that? I'm doing a big investigate. Like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And he's like, no. You're really fucking this up. You're going too far.
Yeah, and I heard rumor that you have him staying at your house. And so if I was actually going to put this on the record, then it'd be going in as sexual misconduct, and you would be getting fired instead of suspended. And she's like, well, you know what? Get fucked, because I'm not having sex with him, but you can't fire me because I quit.
Wait. It's even more than that, because she says I'm not having sex with him, so I'm not doing anything wrong. Ma'am, that is false. That is utterly false. Anyway, yeah. So then she says, you can't fire me. I quit.
As of right now, she is not having sex with, and honestly, I believe that if she had stayed lead investigator, they wouldn't have boned.
No, I'm not saying that they had sex. I'm saying that the fact that he's in her house at all is not
that's
okay.
A problem.
You are doing bad. You are doing wrong, ma'am.
Yeah, you boned this investigation before you ever boned him.
You shouldn't be on this investigation at all, let alone leading it. Yeah. Like, what the fuck? Like, they should be bringing in the sheriffs or something. Like, they should be bringing in another set of cops, call the state boys in or something, because this is fucked.
The state boys.
Boy. So anyway, she insists on being charged with sexual misconduct in order to have a hearing. And he's like, I'm just firing you in your face right now. And then she's like, well, I quit. And like, bing, boom, bong, unemployment / severance pay with Melody. Hi.
You would rather
Stop
be fired.
doing that. You need to be fired. Like, you need to be fired.
Mm-hmm.
Don't quit when they try to fire you. Say, thank you so much for firing me. Goodbye. And then...
Although we find out that she's not exactly hurting for money, right?
I mean, yeah, she can quit on principle.
Especially like 1995 money. Like,
holy
she's
wow.
doing just fine for herself.
So then Travis Sotheby...
like, just a reminder to listener, 1990s, this is the age of like millionaires being the hot shit instead of the billionaires all over romances nowadays. Like, the millionaire then is the billionaire now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. The count then is the duke now, So now Travis Sotheby is going to be taking over the investigation. And he's the one who's gunning for Boyface. She goes home and she's like, I'm burning it down.
And she says, if I'm going to get in trouble for it, I may as well do it. So she goes up and she's like, you want a beer? And he's like, yeah. So she brings him a beer. And
in
then
the
she's
jacuzzi
like,
tub.
Do you mind if I join you? And he's like,
no.
No. And she strips down and gets in the tub.
Oh, yeah.
Girl.
And so he's like, what are you doing? And she goes, well, I'm trying to do a big seduce, but it seems like it's not working. Am I doing it wrong? And he's like, no, you're not doing it wrong. You're doing everything right. I'm just really confused because 3 minutes ago you told me that you could not touch my dick or the world would fall apart. Mm-hmm. And she's like, well, it does turn out I did get very fired and I'm off the case and it's, And
I want to touch that dick.
Yeah, yeah. And so he's like, I can't do this right now. I don't super remember why as Melody. Because
he realizes that she's just doing it essentially as like almost like a shock reaction to what just happened. She's not doing it because she actually wants to be with him. She's doing it because she's like, you know what? It's like a revenge thing for losing her job. And so he's like, and she's like, you told me you weren't a gentleman. And he's like, I'm not. And then he was like, I gotta go.
Yeah, he's like, how about I just make you dinner?
Bath. And of course, when he like hops out of the bath, like naked as shit, she's like eyeballing him.
Oh yeah, she's like, I see that
boner.
boner.
See what you packing.
Oh boy,
that's a nice boner.
Yeah. After dinner, she's like, I'm gonna head to bed. Hint, hint. And he says, lock that door. She's like, okay. Except that when he passes by her door,
it's cracked
open.
Unlocked
and cracked. It's open.
And he's like,
crack.
May I come in? And she says, how many invitations do you want, McCoy?
I mean, what a charmer,
Oh. And then
now here's what I love.
Adorable.
Yeah, because her
I think
whole
we're
thing
saying the
up
same
until
thing.
We are.
Uh-huh.
But her whole thing up until now is like, she was the tomboy. She's never been like somebody that people consider drop dead gorgeous. She knows that the one woman he's ever been with has been like the epitome of Southern femininity. And like, there's frills and there's curls and there's, lipstick and there's simpering and there's all the things, right? All the things she's not.
And that's not her. She's mud and cotton underwear and cowboy boots and tank tops.
So he walks in and she's in like a University of South Carolina giant t-shirt and some cotton undies. And she's got her face is totally, washed. And he says she looks so fresh. And she says, well, I decided that if you want me, you're going to get me. I'm no frills. This is just me.
And unsurprisingly to nobody, he's into it, and it's on, TM. It's canoodling time.
They do sex on each other real good.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I loved it because he goes down on her and like makes her come like a freight train and then like crawls back up her and they're like kissing a little bit more and then she deepens their kiss and she like goes for his belt and he's like, mercy, you want more? And I'm like, duh.
Yeah.
Of course she wants more. Okay,
Sure, man.
that was just the appetizer. That was the hors d'oeuvre, buddy.
Right.
Like, let's fucking get to the main entree.
Yeah, and like she gets on top and like it's life-changing and for both of them.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
By
Like
the
they
way,
see
this
stars.
is way better than fucking the motel that they were gonna bone down, and this is a
For
way
sure.
better experience.
Yeah.
Glad they waited.
Also, why is Suzanne Brockmann only French for butt parts?
Derriere.
She never says anything but derriere.
I don't know.
Is that?
That's fascinating. I did not clock that. Like, there's a lot of things I clocked in these two books, but I did not clock derriere.
Yeah, she's French only for butts.
You're right. She literally doesn't. She doesn't say butt. She doesn't even say cheek.
She doesn't say ass. She doesn't say crease.
Derriere.
Yeah.
To be clear,
She doesn't say booty hole.
I'm not.
I'll tell you that
I'm not
much.
shocked she doesn't say ass. She also doesn't say cock. She doesn't say pussy.
Right.
It's not. She's a classy lady.
She's just like we're classiest ladies in podcasting, you know?
Classiest ladies in podcasting. I don't ever say the word cunt.
So classy over here.
So they dick it down real good. It's a good scene. It was fun.
It was great.
Then they wake up, or he wakes up the next morning and she's still asleep, and he fucking books it. He's out of there. He's like, bye. And so she's waking up as she's watching him leave, and she was kind of hoping that, like, oh my God, like deep in her heart parts, she is hoping that he falls in love with her like instantaneously, because she's unshockingly already in love with him.
Yeah, she's super
madly in
love
love with Blue.
Yeah. So she's hoping that he's like, oh, I need more condoms or something. And that he's going to come back.
And he just never comes back. And then when she goes out, his bedroom's door is closed and he's not making any noise. And she's like, wow, okay, well, that kind of sucks. And like, I feel this so hard. Like, as somebody who has had a lot of like, frankly, a lot of sex with friends. Mm-hmm. Some people just can't handle that.
Yeah.
They cannot handle that. Like, there's some people it's not a problem, right?
Right.
And like it's not awkward, and like years later you almost forget that it's happened, and like it's just a thing that happened in your friendship, right? Mm-hmm. And then some people, oh my God, that is the last time that you've ever talked to that person, because you're like, can you handle this? I know I can. Can you? And they're like, yeah. And then all of a sudden
they can't.
Yeah.
They for sure can't.
And like, to be fair, I think that some people don't know that they can't do it until they try it. Yeah. And like, this is an example of it. Because so the next day we're in his head at some point, and he's like tearing this apart. He's like, I don't know how to be friends with somebody that I've had sex with. Can I be friends with somebody that I've had sex? And this is when we find out he has two friends, period. Yeah. He has Joe Cat and he has Frisco. And one of his other SEAL boys. Mm-hmm. And does Frisco get a book?
Does Frisco get a book? I hope so.
I want Frisco's book really bad.
Me too.
Although I'm not going to lie, after the epilogue, I a little bit ship Frisco and Lucky. I know that's
Suzanne
not going to happen.
Does not have the cojones for that one. She's
not
going to ovary up in 1990s.
I'll read you the line that
her
like got me. I highlighted it. No, not in 1990. No. Fuck you. No. Like, absolutely not. So anyway, but I fucking love this about Lucy. She is like, she does not take any shit from people. She just jumps right into the center of it. So like, when he's being an awkward little potato and like skirting around the kitchen and like not looking at her, all these things, she's like, okay. Last night we were lovers, but today I'm your friend again, McCoy. I expect nothing from you. I didn't last night, and I certainly don't this morning. Nothing, that is, but friendship. So you can stop tiptoeing around me as if I'm going to act all hurt and upset because last night wasn't the start of happily ever after. I know nothing has changed, except now I know exactly where to touch you to really turn you on. And he's like, well, shit. Okay.
But also, listener, that's not strictly true.
No, it's not.
But she will consistently treat him that way.
Exactly. Because, like, in her head, she's like, I was hoping that this was the start of happily ever after.
Right. But I'm not going to drop you, or I'm also going to continue investigating this when the police department has dropped me. Like, what? No.
Which, to be clear, now we know that someone, like, she's like, I know the police aren't going to do shit.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, they're only going to look for enough evidence to arrest Joe.
Circumstantial evidence.
Oh, no, not Joe.
Arrest him.
Blue. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyway, she's like, we're going to go see Jenny Lee and Matt Parker because Jenny Lee is the fiance or whatever. They're hoping to get more information from her. They don't. It's just that Lucy sits in her house and realizes like how vastly different they are. And, you know, it's a whole thing. She feels real awkward about it. And then they go talk to a guy called Matt Parker because he is claiming that he saw Blue and Jerry fighting right near where Jerry was killed
like 11.
the night he was killed.
Right before.
And which is a total fabrication. He's obviously being paid off or whatever. And so they go to his house. Oh, so my note is they do investigating, including some stunning witness intimidation of Matt Parker. Like, what was this? She takes the guy he's accusing.
Honestly, it's a good thing you're not a police.
And like they
the
only
Navy SEAL,
I
who
can't.
everybody now knows can do like brutal shit.
They gain entry into this man's house because his child answered the door.
Like, do you know how bad that is? Like a child. Also, like, how very 90s to let your child open your front door.
Oh my God, right? Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
I don't remember the last time I know a child. I've heard of a child being the one to open the door without knowing who's on the other side.
Absolutely not. I have to talk to my kids about it all the time. They
His
love a delivery person.
His teeny tiny little legs can't reach that peephole. He don't know who's outside. Like,
oh my God. So anyway, they do an intimidation on him and they're like, you wouldn't want an innocent man to go to jail,
which,
right?
to be clear, it doesn't work. This never comes back.
No, it does. It does come back. Because his wife, Darlene, overhears everything.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, it does come back.
Darlene has a Jiminy Cricket, and Jim that one does some weightlifting.
Yeah, so let's fucking motor. So they go do the witness intimidation. They leave. Then they go have some hot sex in the pond. But also like
pond sex.
I don't know how I feel about pond sex.
Also, they say
Do
the
you
words...
remember the would you rather you gave me at the
Sabrina,
podiversary?
You know exactly how you feel about pond sex.
Actually, you're right. Well, that's what I was saying. What I was just saying is like, do you remember that would you rather that you gave me? And I seriously, like, I don't remember what the other option was, but like, I'm not having sex in that.
I remember it. It was being fingered in the same bed as an inebriated and passed out 15-year-old.
Through your window or fucked in a pond.
Who is your crush's younger brother and also only wearing tighty whities.
Christ, yeah. So like, I don't even remember what I chose. I think I chose the yeast infection.
You did. You chose the pond, but it was under duress.
It was under duress.
Meanwhile, this bitch is like, "Do you have a condom?" And he says, "Yeah." And she goes, "Will a condom work in the water?" And he says, "For sure." And like, that's not super true, everyone.
I was about to ask you because I've never
sexual health educator.
Because I almost
Melody.
Googled it and I was like, I'm just gonna ask Melody live.
Okay, yeah. So
does this work?
No, not really, because shockingly, one of the worst lubricators in the whole wide world is water.
It's water, yeah.
And the easiest way
especially
to break
because
a condom,
your natural lubrication is water soluble.
Yeah. And and you're not allowed to you're not supposed to use oil lubricants with condoms because that'll fuck them right up.
Let's be real. They're not using oil in this pond.
No,
unless they're going and finding.
But I'm saying, like,
I can't believe I was about to say that.
Even if they were going to use something other than algae as lubricant, like it shouldn't be.
Fucking damn it! I wasn't gonna say it, Melody. Oh God! Oh my God!
You weren't gonna say the word pond scum lubricant.
Well, we found a prompt for next year's Embrace. Thanks for that. Pond scum lubricant.
Yeah.
Yep. There it is.
So anyway, there's not like a ton of studies on it because I did double check today just to be sure I wasn't insane. And like the jury's like sort of out, but the easiest way to break a condom is with friction. And like there's nothing but friction when you fuck in water.
So that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm pretty sure that, like, if you're lubricated, it's not a problem. But the issue is that you will not be lubricated. Because I don't know if any of y'all have been fingered in water, but, like, it don't last long.
No. Like, it's real bad.
Get some clit play in there if you're going to be in the water, right?
Yeah,
and you can handle that kind of friction on your clit.
Woof.
Like, Lord.
Oh,
but anyway, so they have, and oh my God, it was so funny though, because when they were coming, he went to take a deep breath because oh my God, y'all, he was dunking them underwater while he was pounding her. Like, I was into it. I was like,
this is hilarious to me because he's just a fucking flipper in there, okay? He's a horny dolphin, and he is going to fuck her brains out underwater.
And she has to save the Navy SEAL from drowning.
Yes, when he comes, he's like, and he drinks a bunch of water down his lungs, and then he panics like an idiotic porpoise, and she has to save him. By getting, I know. She has to save him by getting up. Okay. Oh, how dare you, ma'am. Don't you think about that? I cannot believe you, listener. During the chat after our watch party on Saturday, Sabrina did scar us with a turkey shifter.
Did you see the video that Mary sent that I sent you?
Yes.
I'm going to be putting it publicly. Everyone's going to see it.
Yeah, we have to ask her if we can put it on the HB.
I was like, can I use this and put it places? And she was like, it's yours. And I was
Mary
like, you've created a
genius.
Monster.
I know.
I know. Monster.
Anyway, HBs, there's apparently a book in which somebody shifts into
it's called Stuffed
shifter.
by the Were Turkey.
And his head never shifts. Everything else shifts. I can't. So anyway, that was unintentional, but mean.
Oh my God.
That was like that foot thing I did earlier.
Oh my God, we're coming full circle. I think that the author of that, though, the first name is Tate, and we have a Lucy Tate in this book.
Look at us.
So anyway, she has to save him from drowning. Yeah. And then they get out, and then they have a really cute naked dance in the backyard. But then they do have to go inside because the mosquitoes are not playing around. And, like, that's a mood. That's a fucking mood. I don't go outside in the sun. People are like, oh.
He's like, are you going to invite me in? And she's like, I feel like I already did. And then as they're in the backyard, he like pulls her into a dance move, because he's just feeling silly, basically, it says. And then she's like, he goes, oh, see, you do dance naked in the backyard. And she says, only with very good friends. And now he is totally in his head being like, God. Friends? What friends? Want more?
Friends?
Only friends?
No. Wait. Anyway, so then scooting along, so then we learn about her history, and this is we're just gonna say the important part. Yeah, so we're gonna say the important part is that she and her best friend from college, who he has since passed, she and he started a business together, a computer programming business. And oh my God, I literally started thinking to myself, though, I was like, oh my God, literally what I do for a living is computer programming. I don't know what I would do without computer programming. I would hate to be an adult looking for a job in the late 80s, early 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Like, my God. I know that computer programming was like just beginning, like, oh my God, like so much COBOL. Anyway, but they had a business. They did not sell the business, but she did. That's why she's a cop now. She did move after he died. She moved back to Hatboro, which that's the town, by the way. The village. Died. This little town. But she did not sell the company, and so she still owns company, and so that's just important. You'll see why in a little while. So they do all this stuff, and she goes to get gas, and Darlene.
Can I just say notably, the only reason we find out, I have to say two things about this scene. One is we only find out about her BFF Edgar. Because he sees a picture of her and a man.
Jelly.
And he's like, who's that man? After they dig down some more. And she's like, well, he was my friend. And he goes, like, I'm your friend? And she's like, are you asking if we had sex? And he's like, kinda, no, absolutely. And then the other thing that happens is that after she tells him about this whole chapter of her life, he literally thinks to himself, it says that it's the first time that he's ever asked her about herself. And like, he didn't realize she had a life outside of this small town.
Yeah, like
this is the first time he
even
has had a moment.
She's like, what do you think I did between high school and 6 months ago?
Yeah.
Like,
and he's like, I didn't know you existed until I turned the page and you were in my life.
Main character energy.
Oh my God. Oh my God. My note is what a dude. And I don't mean that in a gender way. I mean that in a specific dude way.
A dude, bro.
Yes.
Like,
anybody can be a dude.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So anyway, this is when he realizes he's in love with her. And the next day she goes to get gas.
And so she's going to get gas. And this is when she sees Darlene filling her gas tank and her car is packed. The little kid that somehow was not kidnapped by opening the front door is sitting in the front seat. And she's like, where are you going? And Darlene's like, I got to get out of town. I was going to send you this letter, but I'm just going to I'm going to take the risk of handing it to you now. Here it is. Just so you know, it was a setup. Jerry was murdered. Yeah. My husband's about to be murdered. And I'm getting out of here before they murder me too.
Well, no, and Matt got paid.
Go.
Matt got paid.
Yeah.
And then finally she's like, you have to tell me at least a little bit more.
And she's like, they killed Jerry McCoy and they won't think about killing again. And so Lucy's like, who are they? And Darlene says, R.W. Fisher and the police. You're the only officer I was absolutely certain was not involved.
Holy shit.
Which we all knew this. Sherlock Holmes's. Boop, boop, boop.
Sherlock Holmes is in 2024. Oh yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
So then she's like, the only thing I can do in the face of this information is to go directly to the police station.
So I can get my gun.
Is that, so I can get my gun.
That's why she went. She was going into her locker to get her gun because she kept her personal gun in the police locker.
So A, what the fuck is that? B,
why did you not take it?
Yeah.
Why did you not take it when you fucking quit?
Yeah, why wasn't that in your cardboard box on your way out? But also, you live in South Carolina. Like, you can get a gun. And, like, you're not short of cash, ma'am.
Can confirm in the deep South, it's real fucking easy to get a gun.
It's easier to buy guns some places than it is alcohol. Like,
as somebody who lives in a dry county but could go buy a gun if I wanted to, yes, it is very much easier to get guns than it is alcohol.
Good Christ. Anyway, so while she's there, they're like, we got a hold of his military records, and it does say that he's a martial artist. This is the martial arts thing. Meanwhile, like, in their talk the day before, she asked him point blank if he knows how to break a person's neck like that, and he's like, yeah.
Because to be clear, that's how Jerry died. It was like...
His neck is broken clean through.
I'm going to be like, there's 40 pages left. Maybe about 40 pages left in this book at this point. This is when I started going, whoa. Like, I've already had moments where I was like, what the fuck is happening? Yeah. But like, now I'm like, every third page, I was like, I'm sorry, what? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry.
Yeah, this isn't like the yacht scene or like the convention center scene in Prince Joe. It's like that turned down a little bit, but it's still like, what? Anyway, so like I'm saying, it's not as like outwardly bonkers where there's like a sniper in the arena.
No, I know. That's what I wasn't saying what to you. I was just like,
no,
what?
Truly. Why, what? So anyway, he told her that. And then Chief Shit for Brains is like, with this martial arts skills, you're our SEAL expert.
Our Navy SEAL expert, our resident SEAL expert. Could this man have broken his neck like that? And she's like, he's a Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
Probably. And he's like, hey, but could he have? And she's like, all SEALs can. And they're like, that's it. That's the confirmation we needed. Get the warrant.
That's the last straw. This is the podunkiest, like, Edgar Fudgiest. No, that's not right. Who's the Looney Tune boy?
Oh, God.
Elmer
Fudd.
Elmer Fudd. Thank you. Edgar's different. Mm-hmm. So... anyway, so then Travis Sotheby goes to arrest Blue.
You know that Travis was hoping that Blue would cause a fuss so he could just shoot him.
Yeah, he wanted to do a big police brutality on him.
Yeah.
So instead, he goes without incident, but Travis makes sure to tell him that she is the one who gave them the evidence about the neck breakery. And because he had said that just the night before, he's like, oh my God, she was with me the whole time just to, like, get evidence.
Which,
like come on, bro.
Blue.
Get out of here.
Come the fuck on.
It's bananas.
Both of them. This is the point where I was like, I need both of you to take a sit.
Chill the fuck out.
Yeah. So motoring on, he gets arrested, and then the local jail isn't like enough to hold him, and so they send him off to Northgate Prison.
Well, and he won't see her.
And he refuses to see her because of this. But he will see Jenny. Jenny comes with her lawyer, and she's like, "Oh God,
he called Jenny, but not me, Jenny Lee."
So turns out there is going to be an attempted murder on him in the jail. Oh, we don't know about that.
The only reason she knows that is because she does a stakeout with a micro cassette of R.W. Fisher's house.
Did you know that we're in 1997?
So, this 75-year-old man goes to take a jog, just a casual jog with his Walkman. But he's in such good shape, this geriatric dude.
She can't keep up.
She can't keep up. Granted, she's doing, like, not even trail running. Like, she's doing bushwhack running because she doesn't want to.
In jeans. She's lucky she's in jeans, because I promise you, in South Carolina, they gonna have them ticks.
Yeah. No, and
chiggers, probably.
And shit. Oh, we can't talk about that. So anyway, she says that she's making like more noise than like an elephant in a jungle.
That was payback for the toenail.
It was.
thing.
Yeah, I'm itching now.
It was unintentional.
Everything about me is itching now. So anyway, she's like, I hope this isn't a jog. I hope this is a rendezvous. And it is a rendezvous with Travis Sotheby and another police officer we haven't told you about, but it's surprising that he's involved.
Because he's nice.
He's a nice one. He hasn't given her shit about her vagina.
That essentially what happened is they're doing money laundering. And Jerry
Can
was
I make
essentially
a confession?
Yeah.
This is so embarrassing. No matter how many times or in how many different ways people have tried to explain money laundering to me, I don't understand it. I don't know what's happening. I don't know why it's clean after. I don't know why a different source is clean after. I don't understand why money is laundered, and I don't know how to do it. Like I watched Ozark, okay? So like I know that you have to like buy a funeral home and say that the funeral home is making more money than it is or whatever. But like, I don't understand money laundering.
I'm going to tell you, Melody, that's a good thing to have recorded live and out on the record. Like, that's not a bad thing not to know how to do.
No, but seriously, heavingbosoms@gmail.com. If you think that you can get through to me, let me know. Because here's the thing. My thing
Melody,
is, if you're
get ready for this. You don't want to hear
what I'm actually confused about?
Yes.
Here's what I'm confused about. If you're getting money from an illegal source, but money's dirty or whatever, right? And then you're supposed to shunt it through legal businesses or whatever. But then if you're getting the money back from a maybe legal business, but it's still not tracked because it shouldn't be going from a funeral home to a cartel boss, how is the money clean? It's still coming from a source you can't report. What's the point of doing a money launder?
Essentially, what it's doing is, so you have your customer who pays $1 for blah, blah, blah. On your books, you say that they paid $2, and you have $1 from your customer, and you have $1 of your dirty money. Now you have $2. Okay? Now this is business funds. And business funds, there's a lot of ways to give business funds away to people legally without it being a problem, especially if you own that business. You just pay yourself.
But if you're paying somebody else, Like if if you're doing an Ozark and you're laundering this money for a cartel, why is the middle of nowhere Missouri boy sending money to a cartel?
They could get the money up to New York by saying like, okay, so now they got $1. Now they have $2 clean, right? Okay. They got the $1.
They only have the $1.
No, honey baby. So you have the $1 from the customer.
The $1.
You have the other dollar. The easiest way to do this, God, I swear to God, I've never laundered money. I just need that on the record. The easiest way to do this, and you're going to be, okay, so I'm the launderer, okay? I'm the one laundering the money.
Okay, am I the criminal? No, we're both criminals at this point.
You're going to be the big criminal, though. So, listener pays me $1 for
listener pays me $1, and then I give $1 to you.
No, you're going to be the big baddie that I'm paying. I'm the launderer. You don't understand laundering, Melody.
No, but listen, the
you're
the
New
people,
York.
No, I understand that. But how does the money get from the people on the streets to the launderer? I have to give that to you somehow.
Yes. Okay. So I get $1 from listener. I get $1 from you. Okay. Bloop. I have $2 now. Okay. Because you're giving me the dirty money.
Yeah.
You're giving me the dirty money, and I have the clean money from the listener.
And so this is legitimate. I bought a candy bar money from listener.
No. Yes.
No?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So listener bought a candy bar from me for $1. Yeah. But I say that the candy bar cost $2. Okay. Yeah. So then I have $2 clean. Eventually, I end up with, we'll say $20. So 10 candy bars have been bought. I've cleaned $10 from you. Oh, I need to buy more candy bars or some sort of service. So I buy them from you.
From me?
For 50 cents. But I am going to pay you all of the laundered money. I give you the $20 to get $20 worth of candy bars back. So now you have the money back. And I have a legitimate service. So this is a good situation. But this is why like a lot of people this is why in Breaking Bad they do a fucking car wash. Who gives a shit? Who knows how many fucking car washes he had that day?
I know, but like in Ozark, he had to be like, I bought 35 air conditioners with this fake invoice, but fake invoice didn't come from Cartel Man. So how does the payment go to Cartel Man legally?
That's the thing is like it's so how many times somebody fucking fucked you out of something on an invoice? They're like, oh yeah, I did blank for you and you owe me $50 and you give them the $50 and then they never do blank. Well, in this case, you don't go after them for not doing blank. They you just accept that's the easiest way is they're going to say I sold this person 20 candy bars and they gave me $20 and now you have the clean money, but I don't actually have the candy bars. I'm probably getting candy bars somewhere else.
This doesn't make any sense because you have to buy the air conditioners from the air conditioner man, but the money that you said you gave to the air conditioner man is actually going to Cartel Man. So I don't know.
There's an in-between place between air conditioner man and Cartel Man, though. Like, there's an in-between something happening.
Like air conditioner man has to report the fact that you bought 10 air conditioners from him when you actually only bought 2 in order to stack your books. But so air conditioner man is fucked more. And Cartel Man still is getting money from a fictitious source that shouldn't be cleaned at that point.
Never mind. I fucked up. I don't know why I thought I'd be able to explain. Like, I thought that giving you something tangible would help. There's no help for you.
I watched all of Ozark and I still don't understand.
Melody, I'm just going to tell you, this is not a skill that you need to know how to do, okay? This is not something you have to understand how to do it. You just need to know that it happened. And in this case, so listener, we're getting back on track because apparently I hope, did you understand what I was saying, listener? Hit us up at heavingbosoms@gmail.com because I'm very curious. By the way, I was doing really well up until you started asking questions that I didn't understand what you were asking, what the confusion was. And so I did go a little off the rails at the end. Never mind. Shh. You're okay.
I'm so
okay.
pretty and
You're
safe.
Okay. Just take a
And
deep
I'm loved.
breath. You're so pretty and safe and loved. You have lovely flowers. Just think of the daisies. Okay, so listener, money laundering. No, anyway. So it turns out what happened though. So we didn't mention this earlier, but Jerry owns a construction. Melody, plug your ears, okay? So turns out Jerry owns a construction company, which is great for money laundering, which it is. Melody, don't ask questions, just accept it. A construction
lot of moving
company
pieces
is
in
great.
a construction boy.
Just think of the plant. Just think of plant Poppy for the next like 30 seconds.
Much mulch today. I shredded so much mulch.
So anyway, turns out what happened is that Jerry owned a construction company, and construction company was doing very, 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 don't stop looking at me like that, Melody! Was doing very, very well. Construction company is a great way to launder money. And then on top of that, doing it in a sleepy little town like Hatboro, which like, how do you have a fucking booming construction company in Hatboro? So anyway, so they sent down Snake. His name's Snake. He's a little assassin. He's a little murder boy. And they told Jerry, you can't talk to Blue because if you talk to Blue, then you're going to ask for help to get out. Because turns out Jerry found God and now
Jerry
feels
found Jesus.
guilty.
He wants to get out.
So he wants out, but they're not happy with that. And so they were like, don't you fucking talk to your brother because your brother's a Navy SEAL and he'll get you out of this. Hoo-yah! Or no, hoo-yah. Hoo-wah. Hoo-wah. I kind of like that.
I think the army actually might be ooh-ah. I don't remember.
Oh my God, it totally is.
Yeah, it's
Why are they like those vowels? Is it because it's good for like a hoo-wah? Like,
what do you, yeah, because it's like a battle cry, I think, and like a 10-4 kind of situation. I understand what you're saying, sir. Also, did you know that when you walk into a naval officer's office, even if it's just on the regular landlocked location, you have to say permission to come aboard?
Why is that so amusing to me?
I don't know. It kills me though.
Permission to come aboard.
Yeah. Oh, it's so funny. Okay.
I think Melody's broken, y'all. I think that it's just me here. You just get Sabrina till the end of this episode because Melody's dying. So anyway, so what happened is that Jerry got murdered instead. They were going to kill Blue, but they ended up murdering Jerry instead.
Yeah.
So then now we're back at Joe. And so Joe is at, no, not Joe.
Now we're back at Rendezvous.
Blue is in jail.
Yeah, but we find out at Rendezvous that there's going to be an assassination attempt.
Yes.
Yeah.
But so now we're back at Blue. In Blue's point of view, Blue also now knows that there's going to be an assassination attempt, and the guy in the yard is like, I'm going to go ahead and like, I'm just going to let you know because I would want to know that I was going to die because I want to get my shit in order. Write your will, call your girl, like all of these things. And so Blue's like, shit, how do I get out of this? And this is when Lucy gets in touch finally with SEAL Team Alpha Squad.
Alpha Squad 10.
So she gets in touch with Joe, and Joe is like, okay, listen up. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to do this, and you need to get him out of jail as any way that you fucking can. Can I tell you, Melody?
Yeah.
What I thought was going to happen was she was going to go put that police uniform on and bluff him out of jail. I was a little disappointed by how it actually happened. I was ready for that illegality. But regardless, so instead what she does is she goes and borrows all of Sarah's money.
Yeah.
All 30,000 of Sarah's money. She goes and takes out a lien on her business, on her house, all of her cash.
Her truck
and then
title.
She fucking gets $500,000 to bail him out.
Which like, hey, Lucy, you could have just paid $50,000 if you went through a bail bondsman. Like, the cash bail system is fucking bullshit and we shouldn't be doing it anyway, but why would you get the whole $500,000 if you could just do the 10% through a bail bondsman? I don't know. Listen, we all make choices. And it was more impressive
how you
for
don't
her to
understand
stop it.
money laundering?
Yeah.
I don't understand how bail works. So, like,
It's a travesty is what it is.
We're not going down this path.
No. It's a travesty.
You're not breaking me the way I broke you.
It's a social justice issue that we should fix.
Yes, I agree with that because I know that there's bad. I know it's bad, okay? I know the bail is bad.
10 minutes later, Sabrina still doesn't understand why bail is bad.
Well, no, I understand why. Like, I understand that it's bad. Okay, I understand it's bad. I just don't understand how bail works. And this is my money laundering.
As fuck.
I've had people explain it to me so many times. To be clear, listener, I was really bad in accounting class. I don't understand how money works and how, like, percentages of money work and how sometimes you can just pay this much and some people will do this much. And, like, you want to know a confession?
Yeah.
I don't really understand how annual percent rates on credit cards work. I just make sure that it's paid off every month.
No, actually, same.
I don't understand how money works.
It's just all predatory. It feels like,
It's bad. Give me a circuit board.
There you
I can
go.
do that.
Yeah.
Give me a website. I'll code the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Tell me that if you give me, and I know it's math, I know it's just basic math, but I don't understand it. It's weird when you put the dollar sign there. Like, they're like, oh yeah, this is interest. It's literally just like, you can calculate it. And I'm like, no. And they're like, you have a math degree. You can calculate it. And I'm like, no, I can't.
Money different than number.
Yeah, especially, like, I know.
Currency change number. Oh, scary town.
Anyway,
okay,
so she gets the bail, right? And so she shows up at prison.
Wait. But first, he writes her a letter where he declares his feelings and he puts it in the mail. That is his will.
Yes.
I fell in love with you, Yankee. And that's a truth that I'll go to my death with. But then he's like, somebody comes in and they're like, the warden wants to see you because somebody bailed you out. And then she's at the gate and he's like, you bailed me out? And she, like, blubbers at him and she's like, I didn't have anything to do with you're getting arrested. And he just said, he does a Han Solo on her. He says, I know. And it's like, you wouldn't see me. You saw Jenny Lee, but you wouldn't see me. And now you know. And he's like, yeah, I thought about it and I figured it out.
And then they're walking out to the truck and then he goes, there's somebody behind your truck. And then Travis Sotheby pops up with his gun, which, like,
you're outside of a heavily guarded prison, sir.
Literally in front of us.
Like, there are those
CCTV
those
cameras.
But
there's
also those
like
upstairs hangouts on the fence with boys with
hangouts.
Yeah, with boys with rifles.
They're just big chilling, just
what are those
hanging
called?
out.
They're like
I don't
crow's
know.
nests, maybe?
Turrets.
Is
Nope.
that a pirate thing only? Listen,
they're in the
really high
the castle
altitude
keep
prison boys with rifles. Is what yep. So anyway, I don't understand how they worked this out. I don't how
Listener,
did Travis do this?
If there's anything that we've learned this episode, is that Melody and I, when we don't know something, we really don't know. And it's probably something that we should know. Like, it's something that we deal with that we should know, but we know just enough. So anyway, and then Lucy, little ding dong McGee, fucking says to Travis, what the hell are you doing on the police force with your kind of morals? And I was like,
God.
Lucy, sweetheart.
The police started as slave catchers. Like, it's not an organization that has a sterling reputation, historically.
Yeah.
There are good police out there, sure, man. Defund the police.
But yeah. So I was just, when she said that, my note was, well, ... So anyway, so of course then Travis is like, we're going to take you. So get in the car and then you're driving Blue and blah, blah, blah. And so
Blue's
Lucy,
like, listen to him.
Get in the car, Lucy. And then he's acting all cool in front of Travis, fiddling with his belt.
Yeah, he's fiddling with his belt because he might need to take a pee before he gets kidnapped. But first, before Lucy gets into that car, she looks at him and she says, I love you. And then gets into the car. And he's like, I mean, like, what more distracting thing could you possibly say to Blue McCoy before he's supposed to deal with a high-pressure situation?
Lucy did it in this one. Veronica did it in the other one.
I cannot with these women.
These women are really bad at picking the time to say, I love you.
Good Lord. Anyway, it's fine. He ends up throwing his knife at Travis when she does a distraction by turning on his car.
That's why he was fiddling with his belt.
Yeah, he's doing a big switchblade.
Stabby baby boy.
Yeah. And then they get in that car and they run away, but now they're being chased by a monster truck.
Lucy, they're driving and fucking Blue says, I'm going to make a call. So he, on his car phone, calls Jenny Lee.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, so I did all of this and I bailed him out, but he's going to ride off into the sunset with Jenny Lee. And so he's like, Jenny, do you remember how I told you to be ready for me when I, like, you know, called you? And she's like, yeah. And he goes, it's that time. What does
Lucy think he's saying? That she's just going to be out there fucking skirts up, pussy out on the front steps of the news station and he's going to do a rolling dive out of the car and pin her with his dick?
Sabrina, we
like
know
a
exactly
butterfly?
What she's thinking. That's scenario number one on the top of her mind, yes. But the one that I actually remember from the book is he's just gonna get out and fly away with Jenny Lee on a station helicopter?
On the fucking helicopter, because he's a seal. He's a seal, and he can fly.
They're being actively shot at from that monster truck behind them.
Christ.
And so she's like, I just can't believe this. Like, I can't believe, but it's okay. It's okay. I still want to save him because I love him that much. I'll save him for another woman.
But also, like, what does she think that, like, what's gonna, like, where does she factor into the, like, is he gonna, like, do a duck and roll out of the car and go hide in the office, and she's just gonna keep driving?
Gotta keep driving. Yeah.
Whatever. So anyway, what actually happens, because literally immediately, the minute he was like, I need to call Jenny, I was like, oh yeah, because she's a news reporter for the local TV station.
Yeah.
So she is standing outside of the fucking TV station, rolling live with like 200 people there, and like it's airing live, and so they roll up like a bat out of hell.
As they're doing a high-speed chase. Because R.W. Fisher is driving. And so the monster truck boys get spotted. They get really caught on that camera, but then they decide to, out of there. And so then she's like, yeah. And so then she's like, go ahead. You can go with Jenny Lee now. And he's like, what? What are you talking about?
Why would I want to spend the rest of my life with Jenny?
And she's like, because
you're childish.
Love her. You
imagine.
You think that you're in love with her and stuff. And like, good luck using doilies for condoms for the rest of your life.
You're going to suffocate under all the pink.
Yeah. She does a big girl crime
and
on Jenny Lee.
And so he thinks he thinks she's kidding. He's like, Lucy, did you hit your head harder than I thought? And she's like, no. And then he realizes she's not kidding.
Yeah.
And he says, why would I want to spend the rest of my life with Jenny? When I'm in love with you. Oh.
And so then they get married. That's the epilogue, is they're getting married. Mm-hmm. And Sarah is giving her away with her baby in a backpack. And it was the best.
Yep.
And that's the end. But what was the line about Lucky and Frisco that we'll never actually see the fruit of?
Lucky, Frisco's best friend and swim buddy, looked happier than she'd ever seen him because they were standing next to each other.
Oh.
And Lucky was helping Frisco stand because Frisco was hurt in the line of duty. And so he's been in rehab. And
they
just
told
the
him
fact
he'd never
that, like,
walk
Lucky
again.
was holding Frisco. And, like, I know that they can just be friends like that. But also, let me ship it, okay?
Yeah, just like...
They would be so sweet. Like, I can already see the book in my head. Right?
Uh-huh.
Like,
yes,
I've read this book and I would read it. I want to read it again.
I will read any iteration of that book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Sabrina, what is your lady love?
Okay.
She's got to get ready, y'all.
I'm breaking the rules a little bit.
Uh-oh.
I have 2 lady loves because I couldn't decide.
Okay.
I couldn't decide, and they're both really important.
Look
so
at her.
the first one.
Yeah.
To be frank, after the week that it's not even the end of Wednesday, and it's already been a week.
Mm-hmm.
So I deserve two lady loves.
You do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So first one is going to be, I love talking to listener.
I know.
I've had so many fun conversations with various listeners, like on Instagram and things like that, and Facebook over the last couple of little while. So a great example is HB Carolyn.
Yes.
Oh,
Caroline, I think.
Oh.
Pretty sure it's Caroline. Caroline D.
HB Caroline.
I love you so much. She's such a talented crocheter.
She shot us a message, and I don't remember what it was about, but we got chatting. And then she mentioned that her husband wanted to listen to Fourth Wing while they were on some kind of drive, right? And she gave us a little bit of an update. She said that, and I was like, oh my God, keep us updated. I want to hear about this. I want to hear his thoughts. And then she live messaged me, not throughout the whole thing, but just random snippets, and it made my fucking week and weekend. It just made me so fucking happy every single time I saw. And then just all the other little conversations, and that sounds it's just so this feels cheesy of me to say, but it really is. I love interacting with listener. It just makes me really happy. And
so podcasting's weird because it's so intimate between you and I. And it's easy to forget that there are people who are interacting with us without actually interacting with us, And so
don't worry, I think about it every
–
single time that I say something appalling on the podcast.
I know.
But then I say it anyway.
Yeah. No, but getting that interaction is huge. It's so energizing.
It just gives me the warm fuzzies, and it just makes me really happy.
Yeah.
So that's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one is, if you have been unsure if you should reach out to somebody who you used to be super fucking close with and really fucking good friends with, and you over the years since you've last talked have thought to yourself, I really miss so and so. Probably so and so misses you too.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say that it's always like that, but I just reconnected with a really good friend, thanks to Pod, actually.
Yeah.
And I have missed them for the last couple of years. And now that we're talking again, I just it's only been a little bit that we've been talking again. And it just makes me so fucking happy because we were just so close. And I'm not going to call them out by name, but also shout out, I love you. I'm so glad that we're talking again. And that's my lady love. So my lady love is just reach out. If you've been missing somebody and it's not your friendship ended in fire, then just reach out. Yeah. They might miss you too. And then you just get that happy person in your life back.
Yeah, it's been really, really nice. And there's at least 2 people I'm thinking of right now that I really need. I've been thinking to I just feel so weird, but I shouldn't feel weird.
It does feel weird.
I just feel bad, even though it's mutual, and also not intentional. It's a whole thing. Anyway.
Yeah. No, I know. I totally understand.
Yeah.
Took the chance and I'm happy about it.
Eee! Okay. My lady love is take a left turn and throw out the thing you promised to people. Because we couldn't read that book.
Oh.
We couldn't do it.
No.
And I think it made the decision easier because it felt like it wasn't just something that would harm us, but it was also something that would platforming it would harm the community.
Well, and it's also, it wasn't a 5-star rag. You know what I mean? It wasn't a 5-star bribe. So it's not like we were obligated to read it. It's just we were going to read it for Veterans Day. And it was not the vibe.
Not worth it. Not worth it. So anyway,
that's a good fucking lady love.
Yeah. Don't do something that you super don't want to do, even if you told a lot of people you would.
There's a lot of you.
As long as you're not letting somebody down, and maybe even if you're letting somebody down in a minor way, sometimes you just got to pull out or take that hard left turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm so glad we did this instead because this was
this was perfect.
Of fun.
This is like, we may not do this, but like, I almost want to can we just make this like the annual thing? We'll just read the next Tall, Dark, and Dangerous. Like, that's what we do for Veterans Day.
Like, what a weird random choice to make, but I kind of want to because every single one of them are just like deliciously ridiculous.
In their own way.
Yes,
oh God,
in very starkly different ways.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, like, this was definitely a book written in the night. You can tell.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
like, for a lot more reasons than just, like, the phones and the cassette tapes and things like that. But, like, it was still just kind of an entertaining little read.
Yeah. I did also really like that series we did 1 or 2 years ago with the Arctic murder investigation that ended up in Las Vegas somehow. And the next one was going to be about an archaeologist in South America, ? And it was going to be like an enemies or rivals to lovers kind of situation. I would also go back to that one if we want to next year. Well, like, listen, we'll put up a poll or something.
And forth.
Yeah.
So, keeping a badass.
And
love yourself as much as you love
Pond Scum lubricant.
Oh, fuck. Really?
Keeping a badass and love yourself as much as you love understanding simple or complex money issues.
Love yourself that much.
Love it.
Okay. That's it.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my God.
Heaving Bosoms is produced by us, Melody Carlisle and Sabrina Bradley. Editing is done by Melody Carlisle.
Our theme music is by the incredible singer-songwriter Brittany Fonts, and our art is by ultra-talented author Kate Pryor. If you like our show, remember to follow us on your favorite podcast app, rate us 5 stars, leave a nice review, and of course, tell all your friends about us, even if they don't read romance.
If you want to get in touch, you can email us at heavingbosoms.podcast@gmail.com. If you want more of us, visit patreon.com/heavingbosomspodcast. You can also find us on Instagram @heavingbosoms, on TikTok @heaving_bosoms, and in our Facebook group, the Heaving Bosoms Geriatric Friendship Cult.
Head over to our website to sign up for our newsletter, get our Reading Embrace printable, and check out my audiobooks at heavingbosoms.com. All right, we'll be back next week with more swoons and snark. See you then.